You've rewritten the headline 4 times. You've tested the button color. You moved the form from left to center, then back, and the opt-in rate is the same as it was 6 months ago. So the copy probably isn't the problem. The design probably isn't the problem. What's likely missing is an understanding of the psychological mechanisms that actually drive someone to hand over their email address. Get those right, and the headline almost writes itself. There's a body of research on this, behavioral economics, cognitive psychology, that most campaign builders never look at. But because the industry tends to repackage it as best practices, without explaining why they work. You get the rules, not the reasons. 5 specific mechanisms, what the research shows about each, and what it means in practice. Humans are not rational about losses. The psychological pain of losing something is roughly twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. This is well established enough that it's considered foundational in behavioral economics, not just a marketing theory. So what it means for opt-in copy, that stop losing leads every time someone leaves your site, outperforms get more leads from your existing traffic. You're leaving money on the table, outperforms increase your revenue. The first framing activates a defensive response. The second asks the reader to imagine a future gain, which requires more cognitive work and generates less urgency. The same principle applies to small copy choices. Don't miss what 47,000 marketers already know. It's more activating than join 47,000 marketers. It's identical information, but completely different psychological register. Look at your current pop-up copy and ask whether it's written around what someone stands to gain or what they're currently missing. If it's all gain, you're leaving a significant trigger unused. Displaying logos from recognizable companies is social proof. Over 10,000 subscribers is social proof. These versions are everywhere, and they work, but only on a narrow slice of people who see them. Research on buyer psychology breaks people into 4 types. Those who make fast, logical-driven decisions, those who decide fast based on emotion, those who take time and need logic, and those who take time and need emotion. Generic social proof, so lots of people use this, primarily activates the fast emotional buyer. The other 3 groups need something different to move. Not a logo cluster, but a named person with a photo describing their results in their own words. I grew my list from 200 to 4,400 in 6 weeks, does more conversion work than any wall of brand icons. The research framework for this is Craven's. Prove that it's credible, relevant, emotionally resonant, visual, enumerated with numbers, and placed right next to a specific point where anxiety is the highest, which in a pop-up is the moment just before someone decides whether to fill it out. And one more thing worth knowing. Showing a small number of negative reviews, real ones about minor issues, not manufactured criticisms, has been shown to increase overall trust above perfect record. A minor complaint reads as honest. Keep that in mind for how you use testimonials. Standard advice says to add a privacy note or a security seal near your form. But here's a documented test result that cuts against that. On a top-of-the-funnel form, asking only for an email address, removing any prominent security seal increased completions by 12.6%. The reason is psychological rather than design-related. A security badge signals financial transaction ahead. That signal makes complete sense on a checkout page where real money is about to change hands. But on a form that only asks for an email, that signal creates anxiety in a moment where none existed before. So trust signals aren't bad, but they need to match the perceived stakes on the form. So on a high consideration request like premium consultation, free trial sign-up, anything that implies a sale conversation, trust signals there reduce real anxiety. But on a top-of-the-funnel content offer, they can manufacture it. Countdown timers, only 3 spots left, offers expired at midnight. Scarcity is standard practice in campaign design. It also loses effectiveness steadily as audiences become more fluent in recognizing manufactured urgency. The most interesting scarcity research comes from Booking.com. They tested displaying sold-out hotels alongside available listings, so occupying screen space with options that visitors couldn't actually book. By almost any UX logic, this should reduce conversions. Nobody wants to see what they can't have. But it increased bookings, because the sold-out listings weren't noise, they were evidence. They proved that scarcity was real, not just a tactic. When the risk of missing out is credible, urgency works the way it's supposed to. If your scarcity is authentic, so if spots actually are limited or the offer genuinely does end, show the proof to the people. If your scarcity is manufactured, experienced visitors are increasingly likely to ignore it, and some will like you less for using it. The moment immediately after someone submits a form is psychologically unusual. They've just made a decision. And almost immediately, humans start second-guessing decisions they've just made. Doubt sets in before the confirmation email has even arrived. The principle at play is choice-supportive bias, the tendency to justify decisions already made to avoid regret. But you can work with this rather than leaving it to chance. A thank you page that validates the decision, a result from someone like them, a preview of exactly what they're about to get, a clear signal that it was a good call. That all counteracts the doubt before it can harden. When someone takes a small action, they're significantly more likely to take a second. A person who just opted in is the most receptive that person will ever be. The thank you page is the easiest point in the entire campaign sequence. Following on social, sharing a referral link, answering a quick question that helps you segment them better. Most thank you pages are 2 lines of text and a stock photo of an inbox. That's a significantly missed opportunity sitting at the highest engagement moment of the whole funnel. So every opt-in form is a psychological event, not just a design choice. The copy activates a response, or it doesn't. The social proof builds trust, or it fails to. The scarcity has credibility, or experienced visitors see straight through it. The thank you page either builds the momentum or lets it evaporate. Once you see it that way, should I change the headline? Becomes a much smaller question. The bigger question is which mechanism is actually broken. And that's a much faster problem to fix. The campaigns you build in OptinMonster are the execution layer for all of this. Targeting, timing, multi-step forms, redirect logic after an opt-in. It's all there. There's a link in the description. And if you want to go deeper on how to match the right campaign to the right visitor at the right moment, that video is right here. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you learned something from this video and found it interesting. If you did, please drop a like or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.